Hello, everybody, and welcome to an episode of Night Talks podcast. Today, we're going to be doing a match review for the Crystal Palace versus Manchester United game. Crystal Palace 1, Manchester United 2. Game that was, you could tag as a game of two halves, basically. Because, obviously, Man United were pretty much what we say, poor for the most part of the first half. But, obviously, to get a win at Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park is kind of like something that was least expected. Basically, for Manchester United, Selhurst Park has been impenetrable like since February. And that was February was the last time. Sorry, February was the last time that any club walked away from Crystal Palace with 3 points in a top flight match, and this was more than just a home run for them, right? This was the Eagles' best home stretch since 1990. And as for Manchester United, it was a ground cursed by recent history, a place where Man United hadn't won since 2020. Since 2020, right? Now, seeing that the undefeated run was snapped by Everton, Man United actually needed a response, and that was a good victory, to respond to that defeat. We needed to prove that the recent setback was an anomaly and not a return to old habits, which Rúben Amorim alluded to in his press conference. But doing that meant that what no team had done in months, beating the determined Crystal Palace side is in their South London stronghold, and doing it in the difficult, draining early kickoff slot, especially on Sunday, was no mean feat. Basically, if you look at it, was no mean feat, right? What unfolded was very dramatic. A two-act play, a first half defined by chaos, penalties, and frustration, followed by a second half defined by stylish system-led comeback that finally broke the Selhurst Park curse. Maybe you could tag this the Selhurst Park curse broken. Let's talk about the fast start that the Man United had, the near misses and the danger signs. Basically, you often expect these early kickoffs to lack some spark, which obviously the game did not deny us that, the lack of spark. Man United lacked spark in the game, but that was anything but the case here from the beginning anyway. Neither knowing that they hadn't registered a goal against Crystal Palace in the last 4 meetings, and they knew that they had to deliver a fast start, right? And they nearly delivered a piece of Premier League history within seconds, because Casemiro had a chance and then a couple of swings at the ball, and then Henderson actually saved it, basically. 43 seconds into the match, Diogo Dalot's long throw caused absolute mayhem in the Palace box. Casemiro lunged, but the Brazilian midfielder was, a toenail away from connecting. They swung at it a couple times, right? And had he managed to hit that ball, or maybe had been the fast to put the ball on the back of the net, that would have kind of been the fastest Premier League goal in history scored on that day. Later Casemiro did manage to get this his head to a Bruno cross, but that leap just lacked a little bit of accuracy and it sent it wide. Now, goalkeeper Son Lamans had a strategic part, who is a strategic part of the new system, had a shot saved, a shot directly at him from Adam Wharton, saved moments later, and Palace also, who should have been ahead. Palace should have been ahead, but Yoro, Man United young defender, inadvertently played a pass to Jean-Philippe Mateta, somehow managed to waste the host's best chance of the opening 15 minutes, because he had a one-on-one, I think, and then I think at that point, Matthias de Ligt slipped. Mateta had kind of like a chance. No, that was not Mateta. That was the first one, Yoro passed to Mateta. Mateta had the chance and blew it, side netting, and then the second one, Matthias de Ligt slipped. And then obviously they had a chance, and I think, so that was the second half. The second half? I think that was the one Luke Shaw actually slid in, and I was pretty impressed by Luke Shaw. But Yoro redeemed himself 5 minutes later with a brave block denying Yeremy Pino. That was another chance as well. That ball was crossed and Son Lamans actually saved it, and then Yoro was in front of Son Lamans to block Yeremy Pino's shot. He had chested a loose ball down and hammered a powerful volley towards goal, but the United defender was immersed in the action. But this day was about to take a dramatic unwelcome twist, and that was the penalty given away by Yoro. So I want to talk about penalty drama. The game had been tied, frantic and swinging, but an inevitable crisis was when Adam Wharton rolled the ball in for Mateta. Mateta, who moved into the box, and then eventually Yoro kind of, let's say, slipped or was trying to avoid contact, and then eventually hit his heel, hit Mateta's heel, and basically to try to stop the striker, and unfortunately challenged him from behind, and Mateta went down. The referee actually pointed straight to the spot. Obviously, nobody's going to deny. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, Man United was cheated there or are done by." But Yoro will be feeling really bad about himself, like he cost the team. In as much as we're trying to do things really well, and then eventually cost the team a penalty and give Palace a lead in the first half. But Rob Jones, in a rare moment of drama, announced the retake because Mateta stepped up to successfully roll the ball into the net from 12 yards, but United had to stay of execution because the VAR came through indicating a slight double touch from the striker in the run-up. So, I mean, we could all see it, and it was, yeah, we thought we had a chance. And I could see some Man United fans online reacting in such a way that, oh, okay, is it a retake? It's not a retake. This, and that. But referee Rob Jones gave the retake, and this is one of those things that's never happened in a while before for Man United. So, the top striker, Mateta, slot it on the other way. Obviously, I see people saying, "Oh, why didn't Lemons dive to the other side?" But he couldn't have done anything different, because the truth is, you dive to the other side, you say, "Oh, he changed direction, or he played in the same side." So if you played it to the left and you dived to the right, you say, "Oh, why did you change side?" You know he was going to go that way. It's a mind game thing. He played it to the right. You say, "Why did he dive to the right?" And all of that. It's just a different thing. Okay, he played one. Okay, the first time he played the penalty, he played to the left. Then Alamas dived to the right. Then the second time he played it to the right, and Alamas dived to the left. I mean, you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't. If you dive either side, it still depends on, how lucky you are and how determined you are, right? People are saying, "Oh, you should have gone, you should know," and stuff. But the goal exposed the chaotic nature of the first half, basically. But the period was actually saved from complete disaster by truly world-class defending right on the stroke of halftime. After Matthijs de Ligt kind of uncharacteristically slipped. I mean, the field was slippery. Everybody was falling. And Nketiah sprinted through on goal, seemingly certain to score Palace's second to kill the game. But Luke Shaw turned on the gas, sprinting back with phenomenal pace and swiping the ball from Nketiah right on the Palace, right as the Palace man was about to pull the trigger. It was a crucial defensive moment that kept the deficit just at one goal, offering a lifeline for the second half. We cannot underrate Luke Shaw's attempt to save that, like the pace. I don't think even Lisandro Martinez had that kind of pace that Luke Shaw has. He saved us basically in that one, because Nketiah would probably have put it through, or maybe Senna Lammers would have saved it, but so we have to give credit where credit is due. Luke Shaw saved us a whole lot, but it is what it is. The next part of this whole analysis is the stylish response from Zirkzee. That goal, my days. I mean, the message in the locker room in the first half obviously must have been, I was saying in the live stream that Rúben Amorim probably had given this team a hard hairdryer treatment from the locker room. Despite being behind at the break, United had a historical tendency to score away from home. And I was giving these guys some proper slagging in the first half. And in a very constructive way, man. Like, I expected him to do a lot more. I expected him to kind of control the game. I expected him to be in charge of things. I expected him to dominate. Basically, what I mean by this is, I expected Zirkzee to do a lot of hold-up play. I'm not saying he's Seshko or Rasmus or something, but he was missing for the most part of the first half. He wasn't holding up play. He was doing a lot of one-touch passes and a lot of flicks, and it was not just working because Palace were all over us at some point. But obviously, and they were trying to control how we attacked, right? But obviously, we're due a goal. And we delivered 10 minutes into the second half. Now it was a set piece. Now, it was Joshua Zirkzee who came up with the goods, delivering, the first league goal, or his first league goal of the season, and his first league goal in 24 attempts, 24 matches. Now, the Dutchman managed to beat the goalkeeper Dean Henderson for from the tightest of angles, that swiveled that and he swiveled into space, and despite players being on the line, and trust me, any player that touches that ball is going into the net. Any player that deflects or into in the path of a Man United player. So it was a nice swinging world class goal, technical goal. The technique was very superb, was superb, and the atmosphere in the AON was immensely transformed, with that goal, basically, immensely transformed with that goal. And the deficit was erased, basically. That goal was very remarkable, man. Like, the momentum had completely shifted, and you could see that Zirkzee eventually started having confidence. Though not without a momentary scare. Zirkzee almost had the ball in the net again soon after, but at the wrong end, basically trying to defend. But Sosi Nuzai Majraoui crashed his clearance off his own line, his own teammate. Basically, when Majraoui was trying to clear the ball, he hit Zirkzee and went to the side of the post, and he gave us a scare. Was Zirkzee, both of them, Majraoui and Zirkzee, were heaving a sigh of relief as the ball went, beyond the post. The next goal, however, wasn't far away, and it was United's faithful celebrating again, suddenly realizing that the extra early start had been absolutely, the early start was absolutely worth it. Basically, getting that goal in the first half, in the beginning of second half, and all of that. Now we're going to talk about the winner for Mason Mount, which broke the curse. The game was tied, but United sensed blood, obviously. Rúben Amorim came out to say that, obviously, they noticed that the players were a bit tired, so they had to take full advantage. It was a well-worked free kick just outside the box, and Bruno Fernandes offered, a little tap, setting the stage for Mr. Mount. Mount knew exactly what he wanted to do, and the Palace were perhaps too eager to play along. Breaking at just the right moment, opening the path, and Mount struck it perfectly, and the ball found the bottom corner of the net, especially from the right side, right side of the goalkeeper, the left side of Mason Mount, basically. And the 2-1 lead, which was well deserved, created scenes and a story for an emotional victory. Based off of a second half showing, we had a 2-1 victory on Palace. The team, so good at home, undefeated in South London for almost 10 months, were contained, basically. United's defensive line, I kept screaming during the live stream, just basically, hold it. This was backed by midfielders throwing their bodies on the line, simply suffocated the thrust and the energy of Palace that they had shown in the first half. Basically, they were tired, but then you have to look at it from perspective of they started having control of the game, but finished in United's favor. The final whistle confirmed the historical significance of the result, and Manchester United not only responded to losing their unbeaten streak by returning to winning ways, but also achieved something no other club had done since February, winning at Selhurst Park. They broke their own curse, securing their first ever win at Crystal Palace in 2020. We'll talk about it because I think Rúben Amorim seems to be finding a way to break those records that we seem to be having since he joined. Basically, all those records that, we go into games looking like underdogs and eventually winning. And I predicted that it was going to be a hard 4-1 win, and it was a hard 4-1 win. The video is out there. You can see it in the match preview. I said it was a hard 4 win, and the result actually extends a more current and crucial streak. United are undefeated away. Basically, we have an undefeated record on the road, which now stretches to 4 consecutive matches. I didn't know this. Maybe I knew in hindsight, but didn't want to make it a big deal. But we've played 4 matches away with 2 wins, 2 draws. We're undefeated away. Now, this comeback victory sparked, by Zirkzee's ingenuity and sealed by Mount's precision, was a perfect demonstration that this team under Rúben Amorim has the structural integrity and emotional resilience to actually manage chaos and deliver when it matters. And the amazing thing about it is Casemiro was there the whole time, basically, for the most part anyway. There's so many fallouts from the game, which we'll do in the takeaways, and there's also like the player ratings, which we'll do like almost in the next second. But that game was pretty much what we expected, and it took Man United to 7th place. Before the games happened on Sunday, it took Man United to 6th, and then eventually we dropped to 7th. Liverpool following on behind with 7 wins and 6 losses. In 8th, and then Crystal Palace with 5 wins, 5 draws, and 5 losses in 9th. And you know one amazing thing? Of all the teams in the Premier League, Liverpool is the only team that hasn't drawn a game this season. What an amazing record. Anyway, from 13 games, Man United have 6 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses. So it will be super interesting. For home record, basically, we're 9th on the table, 4 wins, and 0 draws, and 2 losses. For away record, we are 6th on the table with 2 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses. So pretty much good one there. And then when you look at the stats, basically just to give you an overall coverage of the stats, the 6% ball possession for Man United to 44. XG, we delivered on our XG 2 goals, 1.19 to Crystal Palace, fell short of the XG 1.83. 14 shots for both teams, 6 on target for Man United, 3 on target for Palace, 2 big chances for Man United, 3 big chances for Palace. 2 big chances missed for United, 2 big chances missed for Palace. And then accuracy in passing, 79% to Palace's 72%, 244 passes to 352 for Man United. And like I said, I've told you about the XG and the passing and all of that. So it was a game of 2 halves. For first half, very good second half. Well, both halves were basically Man United in the ascendancy when it comes to possession, 60-40 in the first half for Man United to 51-49, which was almost pretty even in the second half. I can see that people are coming up with their own narratives, talking about how they feel about the game, talking about how we're so lucky to get the win, and all of those things. But the truth is, a win is a win. You only play what you have right in front of you, right? And you only have to deal with whatever is in front of you. And we came into this game looking like underdogs, and we ended up winning. If we're looking at the player ratings, most Man United fans and most Man United players actually did really well. And then we'll start with goalkeeper, Senalaman 7.0 rating. Okay performance, a few saves here and there. He had 2 saves, one and considered 1 goal, obviously penalty and stuff. There was this 1 goal he saved and he really went down really quickly. He had 40 touches in the game. I mean, someone was saying if it was Onana, would have been in deep trouble, which takes me to the next person who comes in that game, and it's pretty much Yoro. Yoro, unfortunately, was a sad game for him, basically causing the penalty, but he had 4 passes in the final third and 1 touch in the position box. He had 33 touches in total and all of that. He gets a 6.5 rating from me, 6.5 rating for the sake of the fact that he's young, he's 20 years. He will learn from it and he'll come back strong. Another person is Matthijs de Ligt. He gets a 7.5 rating from me. Did really good. First half was a bit shaky, but obviously he came up with the goods. He had 1 shot on target, 1 shot off target, basically. He had 63 touches in the game, and touches in the position box was 3. Passing final third was 4. Accurate long balls was 1 of 5, so he needs to improve on that 20%. Non-penalty XG was 0.06. And then we have Luke Shaw, put in a super performance, 7.5 rating from me. Accurate long ball 6 of 10, 60%. He had 1 tackle on 1 block and 3 clearances, with 1 headed clearance and 3 interception, as well as 3 recoveries. So did really good, played really well. Luke Shaw completed the most passes, 60 in the match. Basically, he had 82. He played the whole 82 minutes. 60 of 69 accurate passes, right, in the game. And then we have Amad Diallo. Amad Diallo gets a 7.5 rating from me. He got missing in the first half, but came up with the goods in the second half. Had 1 shot, and then he was basically on target. Played 89 minutes in the whole game. Was subbed off, I think, in the second half. Accurate passes was basically let's see. So he played in 9 minutes. Accurate passes was basically 21 of 28, 75%. Chances created 2, and basically defensive contributions was 4, because I like to look at defensive contributions, especially when it comes to our wing backs and stuff. And then we have our midfield general Casemiro gets an 8.0 performance from me. 90 minutes played, basically 2 shots, 3 shots in total. 1 on target and 1 blocked, and I think 1 wide. The header wide, the one on target. Yeah, 2 on target and 1 blocked, right? He had 16. That's why I say he's a misfit giant. 16 defensive contributions, right? 34 of 46 passes, accurate passes, which was 78%. For the 33-year-old, he put in 3 tackles. He had 3 clearances. He had 2 headed clearances, 3 interceptions, 7 recoveries, and all of that. So pretty much okay performance from Casemiro. And to my man of the match on the day, Bruno Fernandes, 31-year-old Portuguese, had 9.0 from me. Bruno was the player he's my player of the match. But he also created the most chances in the game, which is 4. And basically played the full 90 minutes, 2 assists and 1 shot, and that shot was wide. He had 4 clearances. Now let's look at his defensive contributions. 11, right? 11 defensive contributions. 66 touches in the game. Passing in the final third, he had 7, right? And then obviously, as always, 2 free kicks, 2 goals. So you might as well call us set piece FC because I think we're second to Arsenal now. Set piece goals scored, I think this year, 10 set piece goals scored. So it seems Amorim has understood what happens in the league, especially with top teams like Arsenal scoring set pieces. And obviously, we can now say Rúben Amorim has been able to find a way to win games. Which takes me to Diogo Dalot. 7.5. Did really well today. But he has not shown consistency, but he needs to do better, right? Played full 90 minutes. Total shots 2, and they were both wide, basically. 25 of 35 goal contributions. 25 of 35. What do you call it? 25 of 35 accurate passes, right? And defensive contributions was 5. Can do better. And he also had 68 touches in the game and all of that. Which takes me to the next person. Bryan Mbeumo had a poor game today. I give him a 6.5 for the first time in a while. Bryan Mbeumo had a poor game today. Played 89 minutes, 3 shots, 1 on target, 2 on target, 1 off target. He got 7 defensive contributions and basically 2 shots on target, like I said, of 3. Big chances missed was 1. Touches was 38. Touches in position box was 4. Had a poor game. 6.5, one of the very few poor games that he has had. And then we go to Mason Mount, 8.5 from me. Good performance. Mason Mount completed the most dribbles 2 in the match. I mean, Mason Mount is not one person who likes to dribble. I mean, am I supposed to be the one, or Mbeumo supposed to be the one to complete the most dribbles? But Mason Mount did it. And he played the full 90 minutes, at least for the first time in a while. He had 2 shots. 1 was a goal. Basically, 1 was wide. 30 of 38 passes, 79%, and all of that. He had 51 touches in the game as well. And then which takes me to the next person, which is Joshua Orobosa Zirkzee. Joshua Zirkzee played the full 90 minutes. At least second game running as well. 1 goal. Total shots was 1. World-class technical goal. He had 22 of 34 passes, 65%. So the total number of touches, 51. So which was good. He was involved in the game. First half, he was a bit missing, but eventually, found his feet in the second half, particularly. And then obviously touches in the position box. He had 2. Passing final third, he had 1. Dispossessed once as well, but was losing duels in the second half a lot. So we go to his duels. Ground duels 2 of 4, 50%. Aerial duels 6 of 11. So was losing a lot of duels, 5%. So that takes me to the next player on our list, and that would be Noussair Mazraoui for the 28-year-old Morocco international. Came in the second half, played 36 minutes. He has a 6.9 going to 7.0. This is 7.0. Basically, defensive contributions. That's why I'm giving him 7.0. He has 7 defensive contributions, 15 of 17 accurate passes, 88%. 30 touches in the game, and all of that. Had a good defensive contribution. 3 of 4 ground duels 1, and 2 of 3 aerial duels 1, and all of that. Very. He was also attack minded. Was pressing forward, and he seems to be thriving pretty well as a right centre back than more of a right wing back. So we shall see. Next person on our list is Lisandro Licha, the Butcher Martinez. Came in, played only 8 minutes. 1 of 3 accurate passes, 33%. 4 touches in the game. was good to just see him. One clearance, one headed clearance, one recovery. Look at his defensive contributions. It was one, so I'll give him no rating because he just basically played 8 minutes. And the next person, Kobe Menu, no rating, played 1 minute. Obviously, just to come and finish out the game and to just kind of get a feature and all of that. A lot of fans, I mean, there's this image that was circulating on social media. A lot of fans distraught with regards to how Kobe Menu is not featuring in this setup. But the truth is, he cannot get ahead of Bruno Fernandes. Whether we like it or not, we have to accept it. He cannot get ahead of Bruno Fernandes. The best he can do is when he gets the opportunity, he takes it, but he cannot get ahead of Bruno Fernandes. Let's be very realistic. Let's be guided. Let's tell ourselves the truth, right? In as much as Menu is a good player, we're not taking that away from him. I posted a Reddit. I think I posted something on Reddit where someone is asking a genuine question about Menu and basically Bruno Fernandes, right? Basically asking a question with regards to, okay, seeing as Bruno was basically, the midfielder in the game and everything, what could have been the way forward? Like, how could Man United have responded, and how could Rúben Amorim have responded? How could Rúben Amorim have responded? And I put this comment and I said I have a lot of takes because the person asked the question like, so we aren't using Bruno in his 100% playing time deep. We aren't using Bruno up top as a 10, right? He said, don't hate me, but I have a genuine question. At his 100% playing, Rúben Amorim is playing Bruno deep, right? And I agree, but he says, I want to ask, who should actually play there? Was a genuine question and not trying to downplay our win today, just wanted to genuinely know who should play. And I said, I have a lot of takes. But the first question I asked, the first comment I made was, this is a question I've been asking. Everybody's saying, oh, Menu should play. Many people don't want Ugarte to play, but they want him to play in that central midfield position on one of the 10s. Well, are you going to say you pick Bruno over Menu? You pick Menu over Bruno? That was my question. And I said, I have a lot of takes. But you see, Bruno is important to this team right now because we don't have the squad depth to deal with the obvious holes in the team. This was I said, Menu can get game time in that role, not because of quality, but because of characteristics. We have to talk about it. We have to be very factual about it. Not because of quality, but because of characteristics. Right? Ugarte can't play there because he's a defensive midfielder and a rival to Casemiro, who is doing much better, and also for lack of quality as well on Ugate's side. So as a manager, you can only play one player who would give you everything, including versatility. And that person is Bruno Fernandes. And that's what Bruno gives. Whether he is in a preferred position or not, we all know that he won't complain. He will just play. And that is Bruno. So no one else can fill that position other than Bruno unless we sign someone in January. Meanwhile, we need 2 midfielders, 1 defensive and 1 central. Simple as. So that was what I had to say in that post, and that's the truth. In as much as I want to deny it, it's sad to see that Menu is not getting game time. It's sad to see that Menu is sad. He's looking sad and all. But I think it's going to be a learning curve or learning situation for him. And another player who got 1 minute to play as well, and that is Patrick Dogu, another sub. Basically had played 1 minute, 5 touches, 1 pass into the final third, and 1 accurate ground, 100% ground duels, 1, and 100% aerial duels, 1, and was fouled once. So that is that. And then to overall team ratings, I'm going to give the overall team rating for 7.5, and to Rúben Amorim, I'm going to give him a 7.5 as well. Man of the match, Bruno Fernandes, 9.0. Good performance, 2 assists, back-to-back assists as well. Not back-to-back assists, but 2 assists in a game. And he seems to be, becoming the engine room of this team. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. What do you think? Who should I've rated higher or lower and all that? What do you think about the game? I predicted a 2-1 win, half fought one. It was kind of like two formations mirroring each other, and it's good to see. Like, you could actually see the beauty I'm beholding right now of 3-4-3 facing 3-4-3, and who gets the better of each other. Man United came up top on the day. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'm sorry that the match review is coming pretty late because, as you can see, I'm a bit under the weather again. The drastic weather change up in North America is an issue, but it is what it is. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye and God bless.